Jewish to people is next to zero. And so when he brought in the different opinions, the different everyone's different version of their learning, so he was able to isolate what a vast majority of the Jewish people he considered, and he compared it. Whatever there was. When we're talking about Rabbeinu al-Kaddish, we're talking about someone who himself knew every single facet of Torah Shabbat Peh. So we're not talking about. So it's not just that he was comparing it and going with whatever the majority of them said. He also knew, he was comparing it and understood the viability of each and every Mishnah and each every teacher and each and every teaching. So we're talking about an extremely, an undergoing of incredible magnitude. Anyway, so V'achar Rabbeinu hamuvcher mishesh mea sidrei Mishnah shaya b'zman hahu. There were 600 seders of Mishnah, 600 volumes of Mishnah. Should say volumes is not really the right term because usually we translate tractate as volume. It's 600 orders of Mishnah. Nowadays we have 6 orders of Mishnah. Now what did he do? He chose the most choicest of the 600 and he put together Vacheber Shisha Siddur Mishnah Samach Gimel Mesechtes and Kitzur Nimritz. He put together 63 Mesechtes, 63 volumes that are divided into 6 Sidarim, which we'll discuss in just a moment. And there was very little in quantity, but tremendous in quality. So actually, you can learn the entire Torah, the entire oral tradition out from Mishnah. That includes Kabbalah. Anything of the hidden, deep secrets of the Torah, they also must exist in Mishnah. So everything that we learn in Chassidus, everything that it's written in the Zohar, everything has to be hinted to in the Mishnah. That was how the Mishnah was written, and that's how it was.
From my understanding, there's the official Mishnah, and then there's extra Mishnahs that are...
You're talking about the Tosefta.
Yes.
We will talk about the Tosefta in a moment.
Okay.
That's Toseftas and Beraises. We will talk about in a moment, but everything. The reason why the extra Mishnahs and Toseftas and Beraises are because people were not at the level where they could understand how all of those things could fit into the actual Mishnah. But the first generation of the last generation of the Mishnah, when everyone was looking at just the 6 Siddur Mishnah, which we have, they could understand the entire Torah from it. All of the secrets, all of the deepest secrets of the Torah, they could derive, and all of Halacha certainly, from the 6 Siddur Mishnah. In kol that nevertheless, nignazu voy kol haTorah v'sodasaha. And concealed in the Mishnah was the entire Torah and all of its secrets. When I say all of its secrets, I mean everything. Everything you can find in Sefer Yetzirah, everything you can find in the Zohar, everything in Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, and all of the other Midrashim, everything in the Gemara is everything in the Mishnah. Because of the Seder HaDoros, it's written in the Seder HaDoros, which is basically a sefer from about 300 years ago, which deals with the timeline of how everything happened. And the Shiur is going to speak a lot about Seder HaDoros. How did everything happen? Because that Seder HaDoros is a vital part of understanding how the Gemara works as well. The Seder HaDoros Roch Zahai Ve'erech. This is a little bit awkward here. This is Be'erech L'shnas. I have to correct that because that is a little bit weird. Okay, before I print that out and give it to people, I have to correct it because this is all supposed to be one thing. Be'erech L'shnas 3948. So the year of the Sefer Mishnah was on the Hebrew year 3948. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single one of them. Well, actually, I probably could, and it would not be long at all. I'm not going to explain exactly what each and every one is, because that's going to go that's going into a whole lot more than what we need to be looking at now. Anyway, Seder, the 6 Sedarim were Zerayim, Moyed, Zerayim, which deals with agricultural laws, Moyed, which deals with the different times and holidays, Nashim, which deals with marriage, Nezikin, which deals with damages and monetary cases, Kodshim, which deals with sacrifice, and Taharis, which deals with ritual purity. In Zerayim, there are 11 Masechtas, brachas, which deals with exactly what it sounds like. It deals with tefillah. It deals with brachas. The idea of Zerayim is one of emunah and connected the sphere of chesed. And so brachas, peah, dimai, kilayim, shvis, trumois, maasers, maaser sheni, or lachalam, bikurim are the 11 Masechtas within Seder Zerayim. In Seder Moyed, which is the connected the sphere of Gevura, I'm telling you things that you're not going to find, and you'll find it if you go looking for it in many different Maimarim. Is Hilchas Shaychas L'Moedim is different halachas with regards to the different holidays.
Why do they connect farming and agriculture with kindness and holidays with judgment?
That's for another time. Shabbos Erim Sachim Shekalim Yuma, which is on Yom Kippur. Sukkah, Beitza, Rosh Hashanah, Tainis, Megillah, Moed Katan, and Chagiga are the 12 Masechtas over there. Nashim, dealing with marriage, is Yavamis, Kedushin, Ksuvais, Nidarim, Nazir, Soita, and Gitin. Nezikin, Masechtas in Seder Nezikin, dealing with by the way, Nashim is connected Spheres Atiferes, okay? Nezikin is connected Spheres HaNetzach, and is the Masechtas within Nezikin is Bava Kama, Bava Metzi, and Bava Basra, which the three of them are considered like one. They're actually called Masechta Nezikin.
That's where the Talmud usually begins.
That's where many people begin learning, but that's not where the Talmud begins. The Talmud begins with brachas. Sanhedrin, Makes, Shavuos, Erdius, Horius, Avodah Zara, and Avos are the 10 Masechtas within Seder Nezikin. Kodshim, which is dealing with Karbanes, the sacrifices, Zvachim, Menachis, there are 11 Masechtas, Zvachim, Menachis, Chulin. Chulin is actually where we learn about cooking meat. What are the halachas of milk and meat? What are the halachas of preparation of meat and the halachas of slaughtering? How are we supposed to slaughter animals? That's all Masechta Chulin.
Do the rabbinical decrees come from the Mishnah and the Talmud, or are they modern day?
Most rabbinical decrees are coming from the time of the Mishnah, which was within the Bayis Sheni, from the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah until the Zman HaZugos, and from the Gemara. But we haven't gotten to the Gemara yet. We're going to be talking about the Gemara, and is the next paragraph here. So, B'choyres erchin tmura krisis me'ila kinim tamin in midos. A couple of Masechtas here are my personal favorites, by the way. I really do enjoy krisis. Krisis is fantastic. It's very severe, but it's very fantastic. Anyway, Kodshim is dealing with the korbanos, the sacrifices.
What else? Spheros?
And which sphera?
Yeah.
Hoid. Taharis, the halachas of ritual purity and impurity. Kalim, oilis, negayim, para. Taharis, migvais, nida, makshirin, zavin, tvul yadayim, and utzin are connected the sphera of Yesod. So let us move here onto the next page here. Okay, Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai Rabbeinu Akadesh, Chamisha Dayers, from Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai, who he was coming right after the last of the Zugais, until Rabbeinu Akadesh was 5 generations. What are the 5 generations? Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai Ba'atzmo Chaverev, Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai and his friends, his Hadar Sheni, the 2nd generation, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horknes, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, Rabbi Yossi HaKohen Bahar Bezulas, and many like them. Hadar Shlishi, the 3rd generation, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon, Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua v'chavreihem, and their friends. Hadai Raviyah, the fourth generation, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Mechaber Zohar HaKodesh, the one who wrote the Zohar, yeah. Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda but Rabbi Eli, not Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, Rabbi Nehemiah v'chavreihem, and their friends. Hadar Chamishi, the fifth generation, Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi would be Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Rabbi Nassan.
It's me in the future.
Yeah. Rabbi Yishmael ben Osho, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yossi, v'chavreihem, and their colleagues. V'hem Soifa Tanaim Shev Mishnah. They were the end of the Tanaim. V'achar Chibra Mishnah Misbalvala Das Haloimdim. After the finishing of the Mishnah, those people who were learning it could no longer understand it. Those that were learning the Mishnah could no longer derive from the Mishnah the entire Torah. The way that I was speaking, all the secrets of the Torah, the whole Kabbalah, everything is all hinted to in the Mishnah, but they couldn't derive it out from there anymore. If you can't understand it, it's not. You have to have a way to understand it. And so once again they relied on the heter of Esa Lases Lashem Heferus Secha. There was only very few Talmidim, like Ilfa, who was the Chaber of Rabbi Yechanan, who were able to derive out from the Mishnah everything. So, they needed to bring in beraisis. What is the beraisa? Beraisa was one of the things, Malashon Kalpei Bar, which means from the outside. What does it mean come from the outside? It means it was left out. There were 600 orders of Mishnah. Now there's 6. This is what was left out of the 6 and left from the 600. That's because they were left out of the Mishnah. It's not that their teachings were left out of the Mishnah, because the Mishnahs which were brought in hinted to those teachings. You could derive those teachings of these beraises from the Mishnah, but because they weren't clearly in the Mishnah, after a while people could no longer derive them from the Mishnah. So they had to bring back in these beraises. Now, Chera Talmidei Rabbeinu, the Talmidim of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, put together whose names were Rabbi Hoshea and Rabbi Chia, Sefer HaTosefta, the Tosefta, which was the addition to the Mishnah, if you will, exactly what it's called. Shehem Beraises Chazakes V'Alamis Mishnah, that were Beraises which are very strong and well edited, just like the Mishnah. V'chevro Rabbi Hoshea v'Talmidav HaMedrash Rabbah, and Rabbi Hoshea and his Talmidim put together the Medrash Rabbah, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was in Kesarin. If you go ever to Caesarea in Eretz Israel, they'll show you a lot of different Roman, ruins, but they won't ever tell you that there was a big, prestigious yeshiva in Caesarea. But yes, this is where presumably where the Medrash Rabbah came from. Okay, so Lahayir. The purpose of the Medrash Rabbah was to reveal and to illuminate our understanding of the secrets of the Torah by bringing back in and explaining them in stories and metaphors. Bayanim Hashem, and if you will, as the Torah is compared to 4 things, to bread, water, wine, and oil. And wine and oil are those 2 deepest levels of the parable meaning and the secrets of the Torah, and both of them are really supposed to be illuminated by the Medrash Rabbah. Which will be explained more at length later. Rav, whom Yeshem Mimshu Rabbi Abba the Yerushalmi. Rabbi Abba was his name. In Babylonia, they called him Rav, and in the Babylonian Talmud, he's referred to as Rav. Whom Talmidei shel Rebbe, he was a Talmid of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, but Talmidav as a sifra, they put together the sifra al Chumash Vayikra, which was a medrash halacha, talking about how to derive halacha out from psukim from Sefer Vayikra. The Sifri al Chumshei Bamidbar Devarim, and Sifri on Bamidbar, and Chumash Bamidbar, and Chumash Devarim Shehem Midrashay Halachos. Mechaber Rabbi Yechanan HaAmoira, Rabbi Yechanan the Amoira, sage of the Talmud, and the Talmidav, put together the Talmud Yerushalmi, Lahayir Hamaso Matam, to illuminate the back and forth, the give and take of Sheba Mishnah V'Libin Hilchasa, of that's existing inherent in the Mishnah but not clearly existing inherent in the Mishnah, and also of deriving how to derive out the halacha. Okay, because of Sefer Alichas Olam, it's written in Sefer Alichas Olam. So this is actually a quote from Sefer Alichas Olam from here until Halichos Olam is a book that was written about 1,000 years ago. Sefer was written about 1,000 years ago, which was also explained. It was used to talk about many of the kalalim in the Talmud, the general rules and approach, and what certain words meant, and the function of those words, and how to put the puzzle piece, how to take the puzzle pieces apart, and how to put them back together. And we'll be over the Shiurim, which will be weekly. We're going to be talking a lot. Every week we're going to be talking about the ideas of many things from Sefer Alichas Olam. Okay, this is a quote from Sefer Alichas Olam. Because of Sefer Alichas Olam, it's written in Sefer Alichas Olam. Elohim Chachmei HaGemara L'Doros, and these are the generations of the Gemara. Who were the Chazal in the Gemara? Hadoration Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Hoshea, Levi, Bar Kapara, Rabbi Zulasim, and many like them. The Mikra, and this is I added this in here just to explain a little bit. The Mikra, they're called Dera Maver because some of them are a little bit like Tanayim, and some of them are counted as Tanayim. Among them, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, also, who actually the Rambam counts as a Tana because he appears at the end of Masechta Uktzin in the Mishnah. They were called the They were the go-between. They were the generation who was half of one and half of the other. They were Amoraim, they were Tanaim of the Mishnah, but they were also Amoraim of the Talmud. Amoraim being Talmudic sages. Hadar Hasheni, the second generation, Rabbi Yechanan, Reish Lakish, Rav, and Shmuel. V'chachmei Dorim, and the sages of their generation. Hadar Shlishi, Rav Huna, Rav Yehuda. The third generation, Rav Nachman, Rav Asi, V'ula V'anshi Dorim. The third generation, Rav Huna, Rav Yehuda, Rav Nachman, Rav Asi, Ula, and the men of their generation. Hadar Revi, Rav Chisda, Rav Bar Nachmani, and Rav Yosef, Rav Sheshes, and Zulasim, and others like them. Hadar Chamishi, the fifth generation, Abai, Rava, the Zulasim Harba. Hadar Shishi, Rav Papa, Rav Papi, Rav Huna Bereit, Rav Yeshua, Rav Huna, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, Rav Yemar, Rav Zvid, Vanshe Dorim, and the men of their generation. Hadar Shvi, the seventh generation, Rav Kahana, Rafam Bar Papa, Ameimar, Umar Zutra, Rav Ashi, Ravina, and Rav Ashi and Ravina. The Haim Soif Hara, and they were the end of the Gemara. They put together the Gemara. Why did they put together the Gemara? Because they decided that from this point forward, that they saw that people were losing the ability to learn the Gemara out from the Mishnah. And they were
losing... What is the translation of Gemara?
Huh?
What does Gemara mean?
It means Mesorah. It means it was handed down to us.
That's the translation.
Gemara means a tradition.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Ad Kalash and Alichas Olam. That was in that, and so ends the quote from Sefer Alichas Olam. The Chibra Gemara Yadav Be'erach B'Shnas 4250. It was around the year 4250 on the Hebrew calendar, which is about 1500 years ago. V'achar Chesimas HaGemara V'ad 4300. There was around 50 years during which were called the Tkufas Rabbanan Savroi. The group of Rabbanim called the Rabbanim Savroi, like Rav Achai and Rav Yudai, added a little bit to the Gemara. Even though they were not Amoraim, nevertheless they still added a little bit at the end of the Gemara. Sharisifu Ksas Gemara. V'amdo achareihim, and after them came the Goinim, like Rav Sadia Goin, Rav Shurira, Rav Hai Goin, Rav Harbizalasim, and many others like them. Shehem Hanisim Atzmim Ad Amar the Rishonim B'Shnas 4800, which was the day when Rashi, which is the year when Rashi was born. Can I help you with something?
Yeah.
It's a... Huh?
What is the book?
Sefer Halichas Olam. Oh, what's the paper that I'm going from right now? I assembled it. Okay. It's from Sefer Halichas Olam, Sefer Seder Hadeiros, Mavli Talmud, and several other different Sefer Klalim.
Okay.
It's assembled from those farms.
Das ist nicht dem Sefer, das ist ja ein Stück auf dem Sefer, nein? Das ist der Sefer, was du lernst hier?
No, this is just for the first year. Thank you. Okay, around 4800 was when the Rishonim came, but the Goinim were the pure leaders of the Jewish people up until the time of the Rishonim. The Mishemes Rav Hai Goin Nolad Rashi, the year that Rav Hai Goin passed away, Rashi was born. Rav Hai Goin was the last of the Goinim, and he was succeeded by Rashi, the Rishon Sheba Rishonim. The Haim Amudei Halacha, the Rishonim are the pillars of Halacha. And as you know, each of these generations that we've said, okay, every generation is not capable of arguing against the previous generation. We've established kind of a seder that as we go down in our understanding of how it was originally gets less. As Uriel was commenting, that before during the 40 days between the giving of the Torah and the breaking of the luchos and the breaking of the tablets, people could look at the Chumash and understand the entire Torah Shabbat Peh as well. And that degraded over time. That ability decreased until they were no longer able to understand without the Mishnah. And then they were no longer able to understand the Mishnah without the Gemara, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. And each and every new sefer that was made by the end of a generation was in order to codify their understanding of it, so that the next generation who weren't at that level could reach there. So and among the Rishonim included Rashi, the Rambam, the Ramban. So Rashi, Maimonides, Nachmanides, Harif, Rav Alphys, Haran, the Ran, the Rabbeinu Yitzchak, who put together Tosfos, Rabbeinu Tam, the Maharam, Rutenberg, the Mordechai, the Harbizalasim, and many others like them. V'harash.
Why are Rashi and Rambam revered amongst all the rest?
All of them are revered.
Why Rashi?
It's not that these are revered and these are not. They're all revered. It's why are Rashi? Rashi was the one who wrote Rashi came at an interesting time. Rashi came at an interesting time when people were losing the ability to understand what it said in the Gemara. And Rashi brought back the ability to understand what was in the Gemara. He was the first of the Rishonim. The Rambam was the first person to assemble a sefer that was intended to teach you Psak Halacha. A Shulchan Aruch, if you will, which was the Mishnah Torah. Regardless, anyway, the Rosh, the Rosh was the last of them, Rabbeinu Asher. And Rabbeinu Asher kind of was the funnel. He spoke about, he explained a little bit of the opinions of his peers and of those Rishonim who came before him. And the son of the Rosh was the Tur. He put together the Tur. And what the Tur did was he gathered all the opinions of all the Rishonim to one place, and he assembled them in a way that everyone could see them. that they were easy to see and easy to read. Okay. Va'achrav, and after the tour, Amdu Shnei Meirei Olam, stood up two illuminators of the world. Rav Yosef Karai, known as the Beis Yosef, and Rav Moshe Isserlish.
He wrote the first Shulchan Aruch.
Who was the Rama, and the Rav Yosef Kara was the compiler of the Shulchan Aruch, and the Rama of the Ashkenazi explanation, the Ashkenazi commentary on the Shulchan Aruch, who can be printed. And every Shulchan Aruch is printed inside with the Mecham.
Why does Rav Yosef Karo have his own Hebrew alphabet? Why did he deviate?
What do you mean he has his own Hebrew alphabet?
In a Chumash, at least in the article Chumash, it gives you like Rav Yosef Karo, like Beis Yosef has different letters. He writes the different letters differently.
I don't know what you're talking about. You'll have to talk to me about it after class, and then maybe I'll look at it. But anyway, V'nasna Kadosh Baruch Hu believim, Hashem placed in their heart Levayer Divrei HaTur B'Ver Heitiv, to explain the words of the Torah in great depth. The Rav Yosef Karo as the Beis Yosef, who wrote a pirush on the Torah called the Beis Yosef, and Rav Moshe Isserlish, who wrote a pirush on the Torah called the Darkei Moshe. And the two of them, and then afterwards, and afterwards to put together practical halacha for the Jewish people, who are Shulchan Aruch. This was the Shulchan Aruch, which will continue to stand permanently even until after Mashiach comes and there's Tchias HaMesim and the resurrection of the dead. The Torah and Shulchan Aruch are divided into 4 sections, and many halachas without end. Within them, Mesudarim b'simanim v'parakim shonim, arranged in different sidarim. Simanim are the chapters, and parakim and sifim, the different sections of halacha. B'klalim, and among them, Orach Chaim deals with your daily everything in your kind of daily life, basic like davening and brachos, and also the different holidays you'll find in Orach Chaim. Yorodea is found in Isur B'Heter, things that are prohibited and permitted. Things like the halachas of meat and milk, of forbidden fats, of Avrim Hinachai, and the gifts to Kohanim, the laws of Shrita, of slaughtering, of kosher slaughter, can all be found in Yoredea. Even HaEzra is dealing with, Even HaEzra is a third section which is dealing with marriage and divorce. And Choshen Mishpat, the fourth section, deals almost exclusively, deals with courts, rabbinic courts, and with monetary cases, and with cases of damage as well, and how to litigate in a Jewish court. So we will, Emir Hashem, continue next week. Thank you so much for coming, and hopefully that everyone will benefit from this.